Hi guys, welcome back to day 2 of BOOKMAS. Today we are going to be doing a book related video and it's going to be book recommendations specific to a trope. Today's trope is going to be forbidden romance recommendations, naturally because it is my all-time favorite trope. I have a ton of variety in here. We've got some dark forbidden romance, but also some contemporary forbidden. Without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with the more contemporary romances, first one is going to be Wicked by Piper Lawson. This is a trilogy. This is all 3 books in one. It is a rock star romance. Picture kind of like your OG Wattpad story of reading fan fiction. She's a huge fan of Jax Jameson. He's a very popular rock star, and she gets hired at this record label to work with him. At first she gets hired and she kind of runs into him and they get off on a terrible start. He hates her, he wants her fired. It's this whole thing, and the company's very impressed that she's able to handle someone like him because he's this very entitled pop star. So they assign her to go with him on his tour. They are not allowed to be together. It is against the rules to fraternize with anybody on the crew. So it is the sneaking around, oh my gosh, it is literally everything. It is so good. I devoured all 3 books in like 2 days. There's tons of really fun plot twists in here too that just kind of keep you like wanting to continue on with the series. You do have to read each book in order because every book leaves off on a cliffhanger, but all 3 books are about the same couple. Next up is A Little Complicated by Kelsey Ray. This is my favorite read of 2024. I have no words. I read this whole thing in one night and I sobbed. So please check the trigger warnings. A Little Complicated is a forbidden secret romance between her and her ex-boyfriend's brother. The way that it starts out is she has been seeing the MMC in secret. It starts off on her senior night at prom. She's finally going to tell her friends who the mystery man is that she's seeing, and he's going to take her to prom until something happens and he stands her up. So his brother steps in and takes her to prom and they end up dating after that. No one ever finds out who this mystery guy was. She keeps it to herself. She never talks about it again. A few months go by, she graduates high school and goes into college, and she gets assigned into the housing that is right next door to where her current boyfriend and his brother, the mystery man, are gonna be living on campus. So they are reunited again, and the tension between them, you can cut it with a knife. And again, nobody knows that they had once had history. And I think that's what just makes it so good about forbidden romance, is because of the sneaking around, the tension, like no one understands like what's going on and they're just trying to be so slick about it. This is not a cheating trope. She does end up ending it with his brother, the current boyfriend, before they ever pursue anything again. So don't think it's cheating or a love triangle or anything like that. This ending, I did not see it coming. The plot twist was insane. It was so good. I have not stopped thinking about this book, and I read it like earlier this year. Next up is Mile High by Liz Tomford. This is another no fraternizing with the team kind of trope. So again, it still has that forbidden taste to it. He is a professional hockey player and she is the flight attendant that goes with the team to their games when they're traveling. And there's a no fraternizing policy. So when they have those layovers and then those little moments together, and no one knows about it. And what I love so much about it is that he's this entitled player and she is just like not gonna bow down to him because he's used to every female just like being obsessed with him, and she gives him a run for his money, most definitely. He kind of makes it like his own task to make her life hell on the airplane. And he is just convinced by the end of it that she's gonna be wanting to quit her job. But little does he know who he's messing with. Next up is The Tease by Lauren Blakely. This is a dad's best friend romance. You heard me correctly. Dad's best friend. The way that they meet is just so iconic. She goes to a masquerade ball and they meet that way. They have this like one night of passion, keeping their masks on, have no idea who one another are. And then I think it's like I read this a long time ago, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it was his voice that she realizes who he is. She starts working for this company that he does business with, so it's also kind of like a workplace kind of romance. So they really also just cannot get away from each other. Spice also, she knew what she was doing with this one. So good. I love it. Okay, now we're going to be getting into the darker romance forbiddenness. So please, with all of these, check your trigger warnings. Still with the contemporary, but these ones have a lot more darker themes into them, and your mental health matters. First up is Beautiful Fiend by Lola King. I'm telling you, I love dark romance. It's one of my favorites. I will choose it typically over a contemporary. I love, 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 love dark romance. So hence, I've read a lot of dark romance. This is the most effed up series I have ever read. This book, I had no idea how this man was ever going to redeem himself. That's what made me push through, is like, how the hell are they ever going to love each other when they hate each other so freaking much? They are rival crews. It's like this one little town that no one ever goes in because it's so like gang related and like very dangerous, and they are part of the opposite crews. They hate each other just because of like one was raised on one side and the other was raised on the other. Something about a badass FMC that is done so well that just kind of like changes and like makes the story so much better. So one night he does something very, very messed up, and he takes a video of the whole interaction and uses it 2 years later to blackmail her into doing something for his crew. Her family cannot know that she's helping his family. It's the most unhinged MMC I've ever read. Like, this dude is freaking crazy. He is psychotic and I love it. He is like a morally pitch black character, still crazy by the end of it. Let me preface that. This man is still unhinged by the end. He just loves her. They're just crazy together, and I love it, okay? Moving on. Lessons in Sin by Pam Godwin. This man is her priest, but he is also her headmaster. She comes from a very rich family. She sends her to a Catholic school, an all-girls Catholic school, and he is the headmaster, he is the priest. He's a very big troublemaker. Obviously, she comes from a family who is just like very wealthy and doesn't pay attention to her. So in retaliation, like, she will do anything she can to get out of this Catholic school and get put back at home. Like, he tries so hard to fight it, and she is trying to convince him that their love is worth all the repercussions that's gonna happen when everybody finds out that they're together. And he just knows, like, he knows it's not a good idea. He knows that this is bad, but still he just cannot help himself. It is really slow burn because obviously, like, he knows that it's just not a good idea, and he fights himself on it every single time they're together. So when he gives in, yeah, it's good. Next up is Good Gone Bad by Gianna Darling. This is book 3 in the Fallen Men series. This is an interconnected standalone series, so you can read them out of order. It is a really long series, and I think it's worth every single page. They are just amazing. This is another one of my favorite series of all time. The series follows a whole biker gang, and the main president, this is his daughter's story. And the main president, her dad, and he is her dad's biggest rival because he's a police officer. And biker gangs hate the cops, obviously. He also hates her because he hates that everything that she stands for. He hates the way that the biker gangs have been just like ruling their town. And she hates him because she called in a favor for him and he disappeared from her life for 3 years, and now he's back undercover trying to take down this other biker gang. So it is just tension filled. He is her father's biggest nemesis, so this biker gang just like hates him. So the forbiddenness, the sneaking around is so heavy in this one because obviously they have history, and now she hates him, he hates her. It's enemies to lovers mixed in with a forbidden romance trope is just chef's kiss. Gianna Darling's writing is so unique. She writes as if it's poetry, in my opinion. The way that it is dual POV, so the way that he thinks about her and the things that he feels for her is, I just love all of her MMCs throughout this whole series because they are just so devoted and so obsessed. Like, it's just amazing. The last book that I have is The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan. If you know anything about Nikki Sloan does taboo so well. Her books are very, very spicy. It's always a fun time. This is the Nashville Neighborhood series, and this is book 3. All of it is interconnected, standalone, so you can read them out of order, but every single one of them is forbidden. She finds her husband cheating on her, and she's newly divorced. Her best friend is trying to get her to get out there, have a one-night stand, just do something to get out of the rut of being divorced. And little does her best friend know, I don't think she meant for her to sleep with her pool boy, who is also her best friend's son. Yeah. Talk about forbidden. Talk about, that's not what she meant. She meant anyone else but her son, but it's fine. It's also reverse age gap, so he is younger than her. It is just forbidden goodness. Those are all of the books that I have for you for this forbidden romance recommendation video. I hope that I gave you guys plenty of different recommendations based on the type of like darkness level that you're looking for. I love all of these. Forbidden romance is my favorite trope, and I have so many more, but these were definitely the ones that stood out to me the most. Thank you guys for watching day 2 of Bookmas, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another vlog.